Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Katya Kespre, and you completed the pronunciation post-test. This is called Speak Clearly lesson number 48. And you're reading 3 specific paragraphs, you're answering 3 specific questions, and I'm going to give you some feedback onto any last or final problems you might be having with your speaking and your pronunciation of American English.
Hi Michael, this is the post-test.
All right.
Part A. When 2 people are talking to each other, they tend to stand a specific distance apart. Each person has an invisible boundary around his or her body into which other people may not come.
Good job on your pacing so far.
If someone pierces this boundary, she or he will feel uncomfortable and move away to increase the distance between them.
Okay.
The majority exception is family members and
I want to say the major exception here, not majority, the major.
other loved ones. This personal distance is not due to body odor or bad breath, but because closeness lends a sense of intimacy that is at odds with the relationship to the other individual.
Okay, your biggest problem right now from this first paragraph is blending. I'll just give you one example. When you say the word lens and then a, you have to connect both those sounds together, so you will say lends a sense of intimacy that is at odds, that is at odds, that is at odds with the relationship to the other individual. So blending is something that you're having a little bit of trouble with even now.
Passage 2. Interestingly, the average personal distance varies from culture to culture.
Okay.
Americans tend to require more personal space than in other cultures. Therefore, if you try to get too close to an American during your conversation, he or she will feel that you are in his face and will try to back away.
All right.
Try to be aware of this. So, if the person to whom you are speaking backs away a little, don't try to close the gap.
All right. So again, you're pronouncing all of your sounds correctly, but you do have some problems with blending.
3. Also, try to avoid physical contact while you're speaking, since this may also lead to discomfort. Touching is a bit too intimate for casual acquaintances.
Okay.
So, don't put your arm around his or her shoulder. Don't touch his or her face or hold his or her hand. Shaking hands when you initially meet or part is acceptable, but this is only momentary. B.
Okay, now let's read these paragraphs together one more time. So pay attention to the blending that I do and try to read with me maybe 2 or 3 times until you feel a little more comfortable with this. Now, in the pronunciation area of my course, you can check out, I think it's pronunciation lessons 41 through 44, which talk about blending. Okay, so let's go paragraph 1. When 2 people are talking to each other, they tend to stand a specific distance apart. Each person has an invisible boundary around his or her body into which other people may not come. If someone pierces this boundary, he or she will feel uncomfortable and move away to increase the distance between them. The major exception is family members and other loved ones. This personal distance is not due to body odor or bad breath, but because closeness lends a sense of intimacy that is at odds with the relationship to the other individual. Okay, passage number 2. Interestingly, the average personal distance varies from culture to culture. Americans tend to require more personal space than in other cultures. Therefore, if you try to get too close to an American during your conversation, he or she will feel that you're in his face and will try to back away. Try to be aware of this, so if the person to whom you're speaking backs away a little, don't try to close the gap. Reading passage number 3. Also, try to avoid physical contact while you're speaking, since this may also lead to discomfort. Touching is a bit too intimate for casual acquaintances, so don't put your arm around his or her shoulder. Don't touch his or her face or hold his or her hand. Shaking hands when you initially meet or part is acceptable, but this is only momentary.
Who is your best friend? Why is this person important to you? Use supporting examples. My best friend is my husband because he knows me the best. He is the first person that I will go to when I need help, or when I need someone to talk about something, or when I need...
I would say when I need to talk to someone about something.
When I need to talk about an important thing. He is the best friend because he truly cares about me.
Now you're giving a lot of big ideas, what I call generalizations, but you have to be more specific. We know your husband's great, he's the best guy, he can do all these things, but now give an example to help illustrate why he's important to you or why he is your best friend. That shows that you have more specific vocabulary. You can actually give details to help support your bigger ideas.
He also makes me laugh, he makes me smile, and he's the first person that I think about when I'm making plans.
Okay.
The second question,
Okay, so this relates more to TOEFL speaking than it does pronunciation, but you just need to be specific, right? It's not how much you say, but it's what you say. It's how you can bring up, support, defend, and give examples to help illustrate what you're saying. So in response to that first question, you spoke in mostly generalizations.
Use yourself in 5 years from now. What will you be doing? Be sure to expand your ideas with supporting details.
Okay.
So in 5 years' time, I see myself working as a dentist in America.
Wow.
I obtained the license there, and now I'm working, and I have my own patients. I'm very good at what I'm doing. I'm very passionate, and I care about the patients.
Yes. Then say, for example, and then give an example to help illustrate how you care. Then you're further developing your ideas.
Still with my husband, and we are planning to have a baby.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right.
What is your favorite season?
Okay.
My favorite season is...
So again, with idea number 2, again, when it gets down to the specifics, you're not showing that you have a good wide range of vocabulary there. So you like to talk about things in a more general sense without getting more specific.
Because in summer there are many activities going on, outdoor activities like hiking in the mountains, swimming at the seaside, jogging.
I would probably say swimming maybe in the ocean. You can probably say it's a little bit better, not just swimming at the seaside or by the seaside, but you're actually swimming in the sea or swimming in the ocean, unless, of course, you're talking about swimming in a pool close to the ocean, then you might say swimming by the seaside.
And it is time when it is hot, so you don't have to wear lots of clothes, but just... My favorite season is summer, because in summer jogging, and
I just need to check your grammar on something that you just said.
It is time when it is hot, so you don't have to...
I wouldn't say it's hot so you don't have to. I would say it's hot so I don't have to. So make sure you're not shifting into that second person singular point of view, that's considered a grammatical shift type issue, because you're answering the question as it relates to you, your personal experience. So I, me, my family, we. Those are the types of pronouns that you want to use in this type of question.
Wear lots of clothes, but just shorts and flip-flops.
Okay.
And I love seaside. I love going to the seaside with my friends, relaxing and sunbathing.
Okay.
That is why summer is my favorite season.
You got it. Okay, so now let's take a look at the rubrics. You actually have a pretty comfortable sounding pronunciation, so I think you're definitely getting there. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at the rubrics right now so I can give you what's called a post-test score for your speaking and intelligibility of American English. Okay, where are we? Okay, let me see here. So, I think you're between 3 and 4, maybe 4, but let me see what 3 says. 4 says, uses varied vocabulary. You can respond to questions with sustained and connected discourse. You have a variety of grammar structure with occasional grammar errors. You have obvious accent pronunciation variations, but these do not interfere with understanding. So the problem is your vocabulary is a little bit weak. So or you just couldn't come up with ideas. You couldn't think of what to say to further support your ideas. So I'm going to put you in the high 3 here, mainly because of some vocabulary limitations. Remember that when I look at your overall speaking and pronunciation of American English, I have to consider all the different areas that either help or hurt your speaking. So I think the thing that you want to be a little bit careful about, especially for TOEFL IBT speaking, is once you bring up an idea, then you give a specific example to illustrate that idea. You have the tendency to bring up broad kind of generalizations about a topic, but you don't get very specific in explaining those points. So you can improve a little bit in those areas. Okay, in terms of your speaking, I'm going to put you at about 4.0 out of 7. What does that mean? It means that you will probably not reach 26 on the TOEFL based on what I just listened to, unless you make some changes in 2 areas. You need to improve your blending, as I already said. You can go to pronunciation lessons 41 through 44 there, but that's not what's really killing your speaking right now. What's killing your speaking is you're just not specific enough in supporting the ideas that you bring up. That will kill your TOEFL speaking score every time, especially with the independent speaking task. Now, with the integrated speaking task, you're dealing with reading passages and lectures, and then you use that information, you talk about it, so that might not be too much of a problem for you. But when it comes for the independent speaking task, you must create the content, and you have to come up with the details to support your generalizations. That's where you need to make your improvements. And that's where you want to keep posting independent speaking practice tests, so I can push you more. I can push you more with the speaking and really work on getting the details out of you when you're posting those responses. All right, anyway, so your score here is 4.0 out of 7, and thank you for completing the post test.